And I do welcome you all, and also welcome all the diocesan reps. I see quite a few, and all the youth council members and the board members. We have with us today also some special guests, and I'd like to, maybe they could just raise their hand. We have with us Liz McDonald from British Columbia, diocesan rep there from New Westminster, and Anne Walling from New Brunswick. There she is. She's waving too. Welcome to you both. As well, later on, we're going to have a special visitor come in from Cuba, Dr. José Bringas, who will be speaking about the work that is being done in Cuba with PWRDF support. That's later on. I want to also welcome all the staff. We have our ED, Will is here, and Elsa, Carolyn, Janice, I think I saw Suzanne, and Anya, and Bart, and Jose as well will be coming in. Jose will be coming in and doing some translating for us. And thank you to Anya and Jose doing, I think, a lot of the techie things, just to use a very technical phrase, and keeping us all together here. Good. So I believe that we have Carrie here as well. I did see you at one point, Carrie. There you are from Niagara. I wondered, please, if you would like to open our meeting with a prayer and an acknowledgement of our traditional territories.
Thank you, Valerie. So before we begin this important meeting, it's essential to ground it in the acknowledgement that from wherever we are joining the meeting today, for those of us who are non-Indigenous, we are settlers and we are guests on this land. The city in which I sit today is situated. Oh, we're not quite ready for that. Sorry, Anya. Before we begin, the city in which I sit today is situated upon the ancestral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee Confederacy land as determined by the Dish with One Spoon, One Palm Agreement. It is also an area with long-standing relationships with the Mississaugas of the Credit of First Nations and Six Nations of the Grand River. Almost all of us here today are somewhere on Turtle Island. If you know the traditional name of the territory in which you are seated, please type it in the chat. We are so grateful for the Indigenous people of Turtle Island who have cared for these lands since time immemorial. We hold our hands up to their amazing resistance, resilience, and strength in the face of ongoing dispossession and colonial violence. To acknowledge these lands is to take one step in demonstrating our commitment to the beginning process of dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. May we bring the same commitment and spirit of truth-seeking and reconciliation to our conversation today. So I was asked to provide a reflection and a prayer and the land acknowledgement. So I'm going to go into the reflection before we start with a prayer. So my reflection today is about love versus hate. So Anya, you could put up the brief video that I made. It's really just pictures of what I've found about love recently. So September always brings the memories of hate and greed. First, there was 9/11, and this was an event of hate and revenge. And then on September 30th, it's the Day of Truth and Reconciliation and the commemoration of the tragic and painful history of the impacts to Indigenous children with the residential schools. September also marks the season of creation and we remember all the wrong we have done to our planet and our neighbors. And of course, it's our neighbors that really haven't done anything to the earth and are impacted the worst by all of this climate change. And then finally, this week, more hate towards the LGBTQ community. This is a scary time, as there seems to be so much hate, a rise in hate in Ontario, in Canada, in the US, and the world. We are seeing acts of violence against anyone with a different race, religion, culture, ancestry, immigration status, financial status, sexual orientation. This is the exact colonialism thinking that has created some of the anger and hate that we've seen for years. I recall recently speaking to a federal election, a politician, and he had identified how bad it was on the trail on going through the election. And he said there was a growing number of hate crimes against politicians, the prime minister, and candidates. And they ranged from death threats to harassment and offensive graffiti. I was reminded often by Dr. Sharon Hall, or Canon Dr. Sharon Hall, a priest in our diocese, that the good news is love is stronger than hate. And she had written recently, and one of her sermons in our church had talked about the day after 9/11 and the kindness and compassion of the people across the world. And it was about proving that love is stronger than hate, and big and small acts that brought people together to transform tragedy into hope. There are three important Bible verses that remind me love is stronger than hate. One of them, of course, is the one we work with through PDF or PWRDF, is Micah. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. And then, of course, Mark, love your neighbor as yourself. And then finally, Corinthians, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not rude, and goes on. So this is when I value PWRDF and the Anglican Church as they work with partners to help speak out against injustice and those that are suffering. It's about mutual understanding of the issues, not being told, and potential solutions. PWRDF supports the dignity of others regardless of their differences. Each one of us here and supporting PWRDF strengthen through love by combating hate through our actions, listening with compassion, understanding, and supporting the work of PWRDF. We must work together on peace and justice on behalf of all creation. I thank you sincerely, PWRDF, for being there, for bringing the love and assisting in building great societies. So with that said, we're going to move into a prayer. God of all creation, who moves and inspires us through every time and season, another year has come and gone, and once again we gather for the annual general meeting of the Primates World Relief and Development Fund. To this meeting, we bring all of the celebrations and hardships, the joys and the sorrows of the last 12 months. We remember with thanksgiving the highlights of the year, especially the financial donations, which total over $10 million, which provide the necessary development support to places like Uganda, to fight discrimination, El Salvador to promote education on sexual and reproductive health, and Sri Lanka for education and community awareness. Unfortunately, there's been an increasing demand for emergency support to communities in Canada, combating the wildfires, to Monaco with the earthquakes, supporting Ukraine and Kenya, whose people are dealing with significant drought. Remind us that we are called to be bearers of Christ's life, light, and love to all we meet. Help us to live in such a way that we draw closer to your vision for us and journey faithfully in your way. Help us to offer what we've been given in so many ways throughout our lives. Heavenly Father, we ask you for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussions, allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture bonds of our community. These things we pray in Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you very much. And I will just take a minute now to check in with Cynthia, who has been working with Anya to make sure that we have a quorum. Cynthia, how are we doing there?
We have, there were a total number of confirmed voting members was 46. So a quorum is 1/3 of that, or 15.3 or 16. And we have 20 members, so we have quorum.
Oh, thank you very much for doing that. And that's wonderful. We can proceed. And at this time too, I should also acknowledge that not only do we have the membership on Zoom, but we also have viewers on YouTube live stream. So thank you all for joining us from that source as well. So we move now to the agenda, and the first item is a consent agenda. We have an agenda to approve and the minutes from the September 23rd meeting of the membership in 2022. That's the AGM minutes. They're there. You've had a chance to look at it. Could I ask someone to move acceptance of the consent agenda?
I so move, Cynthia.
Thank you.
I believe there's a question here from Cheryl Marek.
Yes.
I see your hand up.
No, I was just using the raised hand for offering to move the motion or to second it. Thank you.
Oh, okay. And we've got it. Cynthia has moved it then, and that was Cheryl, was it?
Yes.
What I'll do is I'll have you as the seconder. Thanks very much. So we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as circulated, as I said, including the AGM meeting 2023 agenda and the minutes of the annual general meeting of September 2022. And just before we vote, I'm going to ask Anya to explain how we're going to do that.
Hi, everyone. All right, so voting at this AGM will be done via Zoom, and it will be live voting. What we will be doing is for voting members, I will have you remain in this room to vote. If you're not a voting member, I will push you into a breakout room just so that we don't have anyone who is a non-member accidentally voting. Once the motion has been moved and seconded, the persons who are non-members will be moved in a breakout room, and then I will launch the vote. You'll vote, I'll share the results, after which I'll push everyone back in. So it'll be just a little bit of back and forth for persons who are non-members, which are simply our guests and staff. So everyone else, it will not affect your voting or moving within the meeting. And you'll get a pop-up on your screen and you'll just click whether you're in favor or against the motion and submit your results, and I will get the results live. I think that should be clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions? All right, so in this case, we have our first one. So I'm going to be this will be our test as well as our first one, just to show you. I'm going to be moving persons in who are non-voters in the breakout room, and then we'll just have everyone else remain. Okay. All right. And then now I'll launch the vote. Please proceed. Perfect. And that is a unanimous in favor.
Thank you. So the motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is the President's report, and I will proceed with that. Is everyone back in? Yes, I think so. Thank you. Welcome, as I said, to everyone to the annual general meeting. In my report today, I want to share some of the past year's highlights with you, showing how PWRDF is making a difference in the world, and let you know where we're heading in the future, and also express the board's gratitude to you all. I would like to encourage everyone to read the annual report that has just been distributed. It not only includes our financial report, but tells the stories of the impact of our work and partnerships. This year, there were 76 projects in 33 countries, investing more than $8 million in relief and development. It highlights our partnership building with other agencies and with local communities. Also highlighted is the generosity and compassion of our supporters, who respond so quickly when there is a need. My report today also includes 2 videos of how PWRDF works with people, partners, beneficiaries, and supporters. The first video is from Guatemala and is about PWRDF's long support over 46 years for Indigenous peoples, once driven off their land and exiled to Mexico, and then following them to their return home. It describes the empowerment of community members, especially the women, to advocate for themselves and their communities, including for land ownership and gender equality. In the video, you'll hear community members explain the difference that our work, supporting their cooperatives, investing in education and training, has made in their lives. Let's hear how they report how their community has benefited. Over to you, Anya.
One moment. I'm pulling up the video, 1 second. Here we go.
A través de la organización hemos tenido muchos logros, porque ya a través de la organización, aquí en la cooperativa ya hemos pasado por cargos de la junta directiva, comité de vigilancia, cualquier cargo que nos nombran aquí, y ya lo hemos podido sacar. Para mí es un logro, porque si Chimpané no nos hubiera dado la asesoría o los talleres que aprendimos ahí, tal vez no tuviéramos el valor de sacar un cargo en nuestra cooperativa, pero a pesar de todo eso lo podemos hacer, y eso se lo debemos a Chimpané y a las instituciones que han aportado con los recursos para que Chimpané nos diera eso.
También ser como una comunidad modelo para también las comunidades alrededor. De hecho, yo creo que así nos han visto, ¿verdad? Desde que llegamos a Guatemala, pues pero ha habido muchos logros, ¿verdad? De poder, más que todo, una carretera que nos conecta con las demás comunidades, el tema social, ¿verdad? Y político de una de otra manera, pues yo creo que eso ha sido un poco también la diferencia hacia otras comunidades. aunque yo creo que quedan muchos desafíos, muchos vacíos, que ahí sí que va a depender mucho de nuestra claridad política, de nuestra claridad económica para poder lograr eso en nuestras comunidades.
Sí, por parte de la organización, como le di, gracias a la organización, ya hubo cambio. No es igual que antes, no había nada. Pero ahora, como, bueno, la verdad no todos los hombres, ni todos los jóvenes, pero sí hay bastante cambio hubo. Porque hay hombres que sí fueron entendiendo, o sea, y sus esposos de cada quien fue entendiendo cómo es la organización y de qué trabajo hace uno, todo. Hasta los hombres empezaron a apoyar a sus esposos, pero no todos. Pero sí hubo un gran logro.
Las mujeres tenemos una buena participación porque ahora ya toman esa opinión de las mujeres, también en el ámbito de que podemos participar en varios espacios. Ya tenemos voz y voto, y en el proceso de lo que hemos estado, pues ya estamos empoderadas también por lo que le había mencionado. Son parte también del proceso que Ixmucane ha dado para que las mujeres estén empoderadas y sepan defender y sepan hablar y poder opinar y tener voz y voto en cualquier cosa.
Y como decía la compañera, hay hombres que todavía son machistas, yo me he dado cuenta, hasta todavía hablan de nosotros ahorita, las que estamos en esta organización. Ay, esos viejos otra vez solo vienen a llenar la cabeza de nuestras mujeres para que ellas cambien o meten ideas malas en la cabeza de ellos. Como me cae mal, dicen, pero como digo yo, a nosotros no nos importamos, lo que nosotros queremos es aprender y valorarnos nosotros mismos, entonces es lo que queremos.
Thank you, Anya. That's an amazing story. But of course, PWRDF is deeply involved in supporting resilience with Indigenous communities in Canada as well. PWRDF's Indigenous Program Advisory Committee has been instrumental in helping us learn how to respond to community priorities in effective and equitable ways, as well as reflect on programs including language learning, midwifery, safe drinking water, and empowering youth and communities. Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities have been delivered a punishing blow by the fires that have ravished many parts of Canada this past year. The new In Canada Emergency Response Fund, recently set up and promoted among our supporters, has already raised close to $60,000. PWRDF is working with the Dioceses of Arctic and Kootenay in their response to the summer's devastating wildfires. The second video is from Manitoba and is about a Canadian food grain bank and PWRDF partnership called Grow Hope. In these projects, a farmer donates the proceeds from a number of acres, while churches raise funds to supply seeds, fertilizer, and other inputs to grow crops on these acres. Will, Mark Hawk, some PWRDF staff, and I traveled to see two Grow Hope projects with Mary Obierto, a staff person from Church World Services in Kenya. Here in the video, she describes to the farmers the positive impact the Grow Hope partners have brought to a region of Kenya suffering from a very long drought. And a video.
Horn of Africa drought have affected 31.8 million people. That is in Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the most affected with about 17 million people, followed by Somalia with 8 million people, and then Kenya we are at 6.7. So when you talk about drought, food, of course, is the most urgent need, but there are other effects that come with the drought. People have lost all their livelihoods, that people who live in these communities are pastoralists, they keep animals, so all the animals die because there's no water, there's no fodder. Then without water, of course, then you are without water and without nutritious food or enough food, people start getting sick. So we have a whole of health-related issues. There's no water, of course. Sometimes even if you give them food and they don't have water, they will not be able to cook the food. So we are working with the refugees in Western Tanzania, and we are giving them the seeds, the tools, we are training them, and we are supporting them to get pension services. And their focus is planting vegetables. They are planting vegetables because it's a high value crop. It requires a very short time to grow, and we are supporting conservation agriculture, and we want them to grow organic vegetables. They are self-grown organic vegetables, and this will just help them increase, improve their diet. Because when you are in a refugee camp and you are given food ration, and in this particular refugee camp, the food ration comes from World Food Program. This same food you are given for 1 year, which will be about 365 days. So you can imagine if you are eating the same diet for 365 days and have been living in that refugee camp for 40 years. And we have seen that state leaders or state organizations, when things come really hot, when things become really difficult, we have to be there to provide hope. Because in Africa, that is still very, 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 very appreciated. And when people do not have food, they actually walk to church and tell the pastor, the reverend, the church minister that they have nothing at home to eat. And those church ministers would actually look for us, like if they have my number, they call and say, "Oh, Mary, my people are hungry, they're coming here. If you can even just give me a sack of next meat, I'll put in my office, and when they come, I can even give a glass so that they go back with something to eat." And for that reason, we are very, very grateful for the support of Canadian farmers, and especially the funds that came through from Canadian Food Bank. So we are also got funding from the Humanitarian Commission of Canada. With that money, I think we have received about $4 million Canadian dollars, and we have been able to feed 13,000 households, giving them monthly food ration for all that time. And that is life-saving. It's life-saving because without it, then we'll be talking about something else. Like in Somalia, we had how people dying from hunger. So we hope that we continue providing food, but we also want to look into aspects of how do people continue living this, because
Something's gone wrong. Thank you, Anya. I had some trouble at the end of that, but I just wanted to point out that the work that Mary's doing is not only in Kenya, but in Tanzania as well, in a refugee camp there. And I noticed that Sue has put in the chat box that Manitoba churches are hoping to raise $20,000 with their Grow Hope project. So thank you. This story that Mary told is and what you saw in the Grow Hope video is an amazing story of the many multiples that can be applied by working in creative partnership. taking the time and care to grow relationships built on trust, collaboration, and open communication can bring about transformational change in communities, even under the most difficult situations. Later in the meeting, you'll hear another amazing story from the Youth Council about their work to promote PWRDF and positive social change. They are engaging with youth across Canada in real and meaningful ways. We're so grateful for their passion and energy. The board and staff are in the process of developing a new 5-year strategic plan, as our present plan ends in 2024. As well, a working group has been meeting with consultants about a new name for PWRDF. Our fundraising working group has expanded its membership and will be working closely with the staff to promote PWRDF and raise funds to support our partners around the world, including here in Canada. Going forward, the board will be working to update and refresh our bylaw and our policies to fulfill our governance and safeguarding responsibilities. PWRDF remains committed to the prevention of sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment, supporting survivors, and providing a safe work environments. PWRDF has endorsed Cooperation Canada's anti-racism cooperation framework and continues to actively review policies and procedures to ensure that they are inclusive. I would like at this time to recognize members of the board who are moving on. Many thanks to Dorothy Russell Patterson, who has served ably as the representative of the Anglican Church of Indigenous Peoples. We are so glad that she will continue to provide her wisdom and experience on the Indigenous Program Advisory Committee. Many thanks to board members Jillian, Basil, Murray, David, and Martha for all your contributions. We welcome Duncan Chambers to the board as our new liaison with the Youth Council, and thank Charlotte for her representation of the Youth Council on the board, the executive, and in support of our new strategy and new name for PWRDF. We are very thankful for her continued presence on the Youth Council. We'll also be recognizing and celebrating 3 people today, longtime supporters of PWRDF, some who are with us today. Archbishop Fred Hiltz, Liz McDonald, who's here, and Anne Walling, but more later. We also wish Elsa Tesfaye, Director of Finance, Administration, and Operations, longtime employee of PWRDF, best wishes as she anticipates her retirement in the new year. Elsa has given so much of her gifts and commitment to PWRDF. Thank you. In closing, I'd like to thank the staff and volunteers who have continued to advocate, plan, and act for the most vulnerable, including the PWRDF diocesan representatives, the parish representatives, and Youth Council, and our many, many volunteers who have continued their support for PWRDF this past year. This type of support not only fulfills the immediate needs for people, but brings hope and empowers communities to provide for themselves and to flourish. So thank you. Thank you for engaging, promoting, and working together towards a world that is truly just, healthy, and at peace. Thank you. I wonder if someone would like to move acceptance of my report as presented.
I'll also move, Mark Hoke.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Carrie. Are there any questions? All right, I think then we're ready for the vote. Over to you, Anya.
I believe Jeff has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeff, can I? Yes, Jeff. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Hi, guys. I wondered what the process was with reference to the name change. when you what the sort of process is to get to a decision.
Well, thank you, Jeff. This question has been in the works for a while. For a number of years, we've looked at it and thought, well, maybe we need to make it more familiar to not only Anglicans, but other people in Canada. And this past year, we've decided that, yes, we're going to do it. And so a group of board members, youth council, diocesan reps, and just supporters have been working with a consultant team to put together some ideas to move forward. And I think Will could say a little bit more if you would like.
Yeah, no, I think that's good, Valerie. We're making good progress, Jeff and everyone. And we're looking forward to a new name for this wonderful organization. So there's a good process, as Valerie has said, engaging with lots of our supporters, including many who are on screen with us today. So stay tuned, Jeff, and stay tuned, everyone. We're making good progress. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Anything else? I think we're ready for the vote then, Anya.
All right, similar to before, I'll move persons who are non-voting members into a breakout room and then launch the vote.
Okay.
All right, I think we're down to all the members. Okay. Please proceed with voting. Perfect, and it's a unanimous in favor.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on now. The next item is the Youth Council update, and I'd like to welcome Duncan to present that on behalf, I guess, of Charlotte and yourselves. And the
Yes, thanks, Valerie, and good afternoon, everybody. I'll try to be brief because I know we have quite a packed agenda this afternoon. So just a brief update. There was a little report that was attached with the agenda, so you'll have access to that. But I thought I'd just give a bit of an overview of what the Youth Council has been up to over the past year or so. So the Youth Council remains committed to and passionate about engaging our peers, both internationally and across Canada, and sharing some of the great work that PWRDF does, both internationally and domestically. So we had a meeting back in the spring on Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg. And since then, we've actually been quite busy. This summer was a very exciting time for a number of our members. We were kind of engaged in retreats and youth conferences all across the country. So this ranged from the Diocese of Coupel in Saskatchewan to some programming at the Sorrento Center in the Diocese of Kootenay, and then taking part in the CLAY conference, the Canadian Lutheran Anglican Youth Gathering, which was held in Waterloo back in August. So this was a great opportunity for us to engage with young people across the country, leading programming that was centered around a resource we designed and developed throughout the pandemic called Social Justice in Focus. And this is a resource that is centered around the themes of eco-theology, environmental stewardship, and SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 13, which is climate justice. So it was a great opportunity and a gift to be able to share this resource with young people across the country from all different places and all different backgrounds. And we look forward to having more opportunities as we go forward and come out of the pandemic to have some more in-person programming with youth, both informally and more formally in things like youth retreats. So that was very exciting. Other updates, we published a couple podcast episodes that were recorded at last year's annual gathering centered around emergency response and the work that PWRDF does. Those were done with NABA, who is the humanitarian response coordinator with the Primates Fund. So we had one on international response and one on domestic response, which is unfortunately very pertinent given fires and other natural disasters that have occurred recently. So we hope to continue that podcast series, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or would like access to that, because that's been a fun project for us. And then as we move forward into the fall, we're very excited to welcome 4 new members on board at our next meeting, which is taking place at the end of October in Paris, Ontario at Five Oaks Conference Center. So looking forward to welcoming some new faces onto the council that will support our work as we go forward and share the work of the Primus Fund and engage with young people and people from all generations. I think that's kind of what we've been looking forward to doing. So thank you for giving me the space to share a bit of our work, and looking forward to engaging with the board a bit more as Charlotte kind of moves away from this role and I kind of take up those responsibilities. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know or reach out.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Great, and really good to hear of all the great things you're doing. Wonderful. And now we'll move on to the presentation of the audited financial statement. Oh,
Remember, motion to accept the report.
oh my goodness, it isn't in my, okay, yes, sorry. Duncan, would you like to move acceptance of your report?
Absolutely, I will move that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And do we have a seconder? Yukon Betty. Thank you, Betty. Any questions? No. I think we're ready for the vote, please.
All right, let me do that now. Please go ahead and vote. And we have a unanimous in favor.
Thank you. The motion's been carried. I'd like now to move over and share the screen with Shailene, our board treasurer, for the presentation of the audited financial statements. Thank you, Shailene.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my second year serving as treasurer, and it's been a delight and honor to serve PWRDF. The commitment of the board, the staff, the donors, and the volunteers to pursue global justice and international development has impacted so many lives. And through the years, we could see that PWRDF remained faithful to its calling to create a truly just, peaceful, and healthy and peaceful world, to respond to God's call, to witness God's healing love in a broken world. And the best way to summarize the fiscal year is to look the story of our financial statements. Let me share with you my screen. Are you seeing the?
Yes. Yes.
Peter Simpson. Oh, sorry. So on page 1 of the financial statements, you will see that auditors issued an unqualified opinion, which means that our financial statements present fairly the financial position and results of our operations. In other words, we can trust the accounting records as well as the financial reports. On the next page, you will see that the auditors indicated that they did not encounter any control issues requiring our attention. Over the years, the Lord has blessed our concerted efforts with abundant resources to fulfill His vision. From 5.5 million in 2009, our resources had grown to 11.7 million as of March 2023. This speaks of the trust and confidence donors have at PWRDF. Donors see our efficient stewardship and the impact of our work as the generous support of Anglicans across Canada has consistently grown through the years. Our donations are driven by the humanitarian response needed in a given year. In 2023, we raised 10.9 million, a 6.8% drop from 11.7 in 2022. It was in 2022 that we launched our campaign for Ukraine as well as the flood in BC, of which many were compelled to respond immediately. The next slide shows the sources of our revenue. For 2023, 41% of our revenue comes from parish donations, foundations, as well as individuals. 43% of the revenue comes from the Canadian food grains and 7% from bequest. In 2022, we had 37 donors who bequeathed PWRDF 1.16 million. And in 2023, we received bequests from 26 donors, totaling 950,940. And 192,117 were deferred because it's a donor restricted donation for Africa and Indigenous program in Canada. This donor restricted bequest will be recognized as revenue once the project is fulfilled. In 2023, we spent a total of 12.2 million to carry our mission. 75% went to programs, 15% for program delivery, 7% for administration, and 3% for fundraising. In 2023, PWRDF is able to fund 40% more programs compared to what we have in 2022. The next slide shows the trend of donations over the past 5 years. As you can see, the support of Anglicans across Canada has consistently grown from 1.6 million in 2018 to 2.9 million in 2022. A huge thanks to all of you, to every volunteer and donor, to every diocese and parish, to every diocesan representative, to all staff and the board, for all the works that have been produced by faith, all the labor prompted by love, and the endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ. As part of our ultimate stewardship, let us continue to share God's abundant gift in us through our time, talents, and treasures. Let us remember PWRDF in planning our ultimate gift of stewardship to ensure the continuity of our mission until the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. One of the ways we can do this is to use our free time or retirement years to serve God or to love God's mission in the world. And a second way is to be hospitable in our generous legacy gift in the same way as God has provided us with such abundance. PWRDF strives to live out our values as written in Micah 6 verse 8. He has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with our God. Thank you for remaining faithful in praying and supporting PWRDF in various capacities. We are all important and are needed to be the body of Christ, to be God's hands and feet here on earth. And as we function, we can truly act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with our God. And as I end my report, I want to thank our trusted and dedicated finance team, headed by Elsa and Alice, for their commitment to maintaining the integrity and reliability of our finances. I'd be delighted to answer any questions you may have. Our audited financial statements have relevant notes that you may want to read during your free time. So that's the end of my report, and I'm happy to handle any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Shailene. Are there any questions? All right. Would you like to move acceptance of the audited financial statements for April 1, 2022 to March 31st, 2023 be accepted as presented?
Sure, I so move.
Okay,
and
thank
I
you.
also move that the Norton McMullen be appointed to audit the financial statements for the current fiscal year.
Okay, I think we'll handle them separately,
Oh,
but I'll note that. Is there a seconder for the first motion?
I can second that.
Oh, I think I saw Valerie Isaac first. Thank you. Any other questions for Shailene?
I think Jeff. I see a raise of hand from Jeff.
Oh,
Jeff.
Hi guys, I got 2 questions. Shailene, thank you so much for doing that. I couldn't do the accounts even if I tried. So did I see that this year we've spent 1.4 million more than we had coming in this year, or 2023? Is that right?
Let me see.
It's got lots of negatives and brackets. And I just wanted to confirm that. I think we had 1.4 million spent more than we had coming in.
Are you referring on the financial statements or from the slides?
Not from the financial statements. Yeah. We had a deficit here.
Sorry, what page on the financial statements?
I think it was page 3. No, it wasn't page 3. I didn't write down which page it was, but I'm sure it's because it was in brackets. I think it's saying that we spent 1.4 more than we had coming in. There we go. Just right there.
Is this the one?
Yeah, so
Yes.
the $11,000 is less than the, where is it? Total expenses. Oh no, that's 2021-22.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me. I pull out the wrong.
I see something with net assets, unrestricted, restricted. It shows March 31st, 2023. I'm just not sure what page that is.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't.
It would be page 4.
I was going to say, maybe while Shailene's looking for that, I can just help a little bit, Jeff. I know last year we received a lot of funding through the Canadian Food Grains Bank to support programs that was moved several months later in the following fiscal year. So that explains that difference as well. So there was a lot of funding for hunger response that was actually received one year but moved the following year. It's just the nature of that CFGB programming. But I'll let Shailene, it happens many years as such. But Shailene, you may want to give a more accurate response.
There we go. There we go. That's it.
So this one is the excess of the revenue over excess of the expenses over the expenses, and not necessarily excess of what PWRDF has budgeted. So it depends on the revenue that we have received for that year, and as well as the expenses that were spent during that time. But it doesn't mean we spent more than what the board has budgeted.
No. But I mean, I'm just trying to read it because of all the brackets.
Okay.
That's what it means. And Shailene, Shailene or Will, I've got another question.
Sure.
The grants receivable were $100,000 higher in 2022 than they were in 2023. There we go. Grants receivable. So is that, do you think that's part of that Canadian Food Grains Bank movement of money? There, that one, grants receivable.
That is a commitment that we have received from the Diocese of Toronto. So they did a fundraising, and they made the promise, and it was recognized in our books, but the receipt of that funds was not made until the next fiscal year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all.
No
that
problem.
was easy.
Any other
Thank you.
question?
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Shailene, too, for your answer, and Will. We have a motion on the floor to accept the audited financial statements. It's moved and seconded. I think we're ready for the vote. Anya?
Right. Just give me a moment. Let me launch this one. Right. So we have the first one. And I think we have everyone here who's a voting member. And launch. Please go ahead and vote. All right, we have a unanimous in favor.
Okay, and that's carried. We can go to the second motion. Shailene has moved it, that Norton McMullen LLP be appointed to audit the PWRDF financials for the fiscal year 2023-24. Is there a seconder? Can someone help me? I don't see any.
I'll second it. I'll second it, Mark.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Deciding on?
Do we have a question?
No, I wanted to know who we decided on seconding, because I saw Carrie's hand and then Mark, and I heard, I think, someone else. So I just wanted to.
Yes, there were about three. So I wrote down Mark.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
So I will launch the.
Okay, I think we're ready for the question. Or for the vote, rather. There it is.
All right.
And it is carried. Thank you, everyone. And now we'll move over to the election of the Board of Directors, and I'll turn it over now to Martha.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here as the chair of the nominating committee, and our election this afternoon represents a long-term piece of work that we have been invested in terms of analyzing the current board membership, the skills and the backgrounds that are represented on the board currently, and then identifying gaps in that skills matrix and in terms of representation and backgrounds. And then working with our networks and our various communication opportunities in order to recruit members and potential board directors from across Canada. So I think that it's fair to say that the nominating committee is really pleased to bring before you today a really excellent slate of candidates. I'll just draw to your attention that we have 7 vacancies on the board of directors this year, and we have 7 candidates for election. We have 2 members who are up for re-election, and we have 5 new nominees. So I'll just walk you through those members up for re-election. That would be Mark Hawk and Ron Vale. And the new nominees are Chandra Madramutu, Donald Butler, Elizabeth Heater, Ian Van Haren, and Peter Wall. And there's going to be 3 parts to our election process this afternoon. And in each part, we'll be voting on each of those nominees individually. But again, I will remind you that 7 candidates for 7 slots. So take that for what it is worth. So the 3 parts are that we will be electing the members who are up for re-election, then we will be electing the new nominees, and then we will have a motion to destroy the ballots. And Anya is going to walk us through all of the online balloting.
Okay. All right, so let me, just to make this a lot easier, I am going to share and remind everyone what the what is up. So that's quick and easy for each person to remember. Now, at this junction, I'm going to push all the non-voting members, as well as Mark and Ron, into a breakout room so that we can launch this first section of the voting process. And then I will have Ron and Mark come back in so that we can vote for the other category of the new members. Or no, I'll leave them out for the two voting sections. Is that okay, Valerie?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Let me do that now and we'll commence the voting process. One moment, please. Right. I think we're about ready. Just give it a 2 seconds.
And Anya,
Yes.
I think because Ron and Mark are both board members presently, should they not get a vote as well? So
That's
they
what
should
I
be.
was confirming if they should come back, and I presume they don't vote for themselves if they're the ones on the ballot. But
Well, they can do whatever they want. Okay, so they should be back in.
All right, no problem. That's perfectly fine. All right, let me do that. 1 second. Give me a moment. Move to main session. Move to main session. All right, Mark and Ron should be back in the room now.
And everyone gets to vote. Thank you,
Yes.
Anya. Just
Okay. Let me just double check that they're here. Mark and Ron, are you back in the room? I think so.
okay, just run the vote is fine.
Okay, no problem. Give me a moment. All right, so now I'm going to launch. Please go ahead and vote. All right, and that was unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, and then we'll go to the other poll, which is for the 5 nominees. And I will ask you to vote on all 5 individuals, please. Please proceed with voting. All right, I've received a unanimous vote in favor of. And I think that's the next one is for the motion. And Martha?
Yeah, I would like to move that the nomination ballots be destroyed after the successful election of directors and appointment of honorary associates. And I need a seconder.
Yes. Carrie, looks like she's got it for you there, Martha.
Okay. All right, so I will launch that one. Please proceed. All right, and we have a unanimous in favor as well.
Good, thank you. And apologies to Ron and Mark. You should have been in the vote if you, I hope you were returned.
Yes, they're back there. I think they should have been back in the room now. I think they were in the vote.
Good, thank you.
As well as our work in recruiting nominations to the board of directors, we also received nominations for honorary associates. And I believe that Will is going to speak about the honorary associates.
For sure, yes. Hey, thank you so much, Martha. And also just thank you for finding 3 more wonderful honorary associates for PWRDF. We currently have 23 honorary associates. Some of you are with us on screen and at the AGM today. How wonderful. I'm really pleased that 2 of them are here to say a few words as well. But let me just say really briefly, Liz McDonald is from the Diocese of New Westminster and has not only promoted PWRDF in many parishes and in many venues, just really gone out, but she's also raised so many dollars, so much money for the work of PWRDF and our partners in really innovative ways, including the Ride for Refuge and World of Gifts, just galvanizing so much support. Liz will be able to say a few words. Anne Walling in the Diocese of Fredericton has been our diocesan representative for many years, welcomed me and my wife in a visit last year. I know she has supported PWRDF across New Brunswick. I'm just so pleased for her work, and I'm so pleased for the nomination of both Liz and Anne. And I'll go on to the 3rd nomination in just a moment. But maybe, Anya, if it works for Liz and then Anne, just to be given a minute or so, just to say hello to all of us so that we can see them and thank them that way. Can I pass that to you, Anya, to put a spotlight on Liz and then Anne?
Yes, no problem. All right, so we'll start off here with Liz.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here with everybody and to see your faces and have read about so much that people have been able to do with PWRDF. I've been a member of my church at All Saints in Ladner for 42 years and was introduced to PWRDF in 1982 by Reverend Donald Gordon, who was a passionate supporter of PWRDF and used every opportunity to support various initiatives within the parish and to speak about PWRDF work in general. After that, we were very honoured to have Denise Hambidge join our church. And under her mentorship, I became much more involved with the actual workings of PWRDF and how I could promote it within our church, and also to do some fundraising. And we've been able to do fundraising events, 2 main ones every year, one in Lent and one in Advent. And I like to do a visual reminder of what we're supporting. And that's usually taken from the World of Gifts catalogue. So we choose something that we're going to focus on for that period of time and set a target. And so I make little models of the pharmacy, the greenhouse we did, and the solar suitcases and solar ovens. So I make little models of all these things. So people in the church can really see what we're actually trying to raise funds for. And we've been very successful in doing that. And as Will said, the Ride for Refuge, I've been involved with that since 2014. And tomorrow I'm doing a walk with some members from the Vancouver chapter and some friends of mine. And also I'm going to be doing a ride next weekend, also with some friends. So I promoted that in our church last weekend and got a good response. So very happy to be able to do things locally. It's been a struggle during COVID for me, as for everybody else. but I'm very honored to have been nominated by someone to accept this position and this honor. So thank you so much, those who nominated me and those who agreed. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, Will?
Sure, maybe we can just go right to Anne. I believe Anne is with us as well.
Thank you for this opportunity to share my PWRDF story. When I was asked by Bishop Claude, who appointed me many years ago, why is PWRDF so important to you? My answer was, PWRDF satisfies my soul. That was true then, and it's true now. I'm so very pleased to receive this honor. But you need to know that I'm not the only one responsible for the success of my ministry. Bishop David and his wife Debbie have been very supportive in the diocese and to me. Thank you, Debbie, for accepting the position that I've just left. I'm glad that she's our new diocesan representative. I'll help her in any way I can. The parish representatives and their priests are the real workers for PWRDF. They're creating the awareness in the church. I'm only a small part of a team. I was blessed to have been invited to many of the parishes to speak and present PWRDF, and I loved that. I cannot say enough about the wonderful support the staff of PWRDF has given me over the years. Suzanne, Christine, Carolyn, Janice, and Kim. Not only do they create resources and videos, but they're always available to answer any questions and to help them. And they do it there with love and friendship. And I feel so comfortable with them to ask them anything. Will is a wonderful source of encouragement and resources. And he's made arrangements that he can be in your diocese, no matter how small your church is or how large your church is. I think that's wonderful. Valerie Mayer is a hardworking member of the board and cannot be thanked enough. Anya, thank you for all the help you gave me today, because I wasn't sure where I was supposed to go. Anyhow, well, I think what I'm trying to say is that for this honor, I thank you. And I thank you for being there for me. I'm looking forward to enjoying the role of PWRDF representative member. I wrote a little footnote in my hefts here. I say, please forgive me if I left anyone out. I often have senior moments now. Not that I can blame everything on a senior moment, but I sure try. In old age grand. Thank you.
Well, a big thanks, Anne and Liz. And you know, if you're able, maybe we can clap or put some confetti up in your screens or balloons or things like that. However, we can do that. Anne and Liz, you have put so many years, I'm sure, so many kilometers in terms of traveling, all for the good work of PWRDF and our partners. So many thanks, so many thanks. We have one more honorary associate to mention who isn't able to be here, but I'm just so pleased to share a few words that Archbishop Fred Hiltz shared with me this morning. He wasn't able to make this meeting, but let me just share with you what Archbishop Fred shared with me that I'd like to share with all of you. I am very humbled, dear friends, by this recognition. Thank you very much. When I was primate, I was very much enjoying my role with PWRDF. I had the privilege of working with 3 spirited and very competent executive directors, Cheryl, Adele, and Will. You're very gracious, Archbishop Fred. I always very much enjoyed my engagement with all the staff, and I quite enjoyed working with the board of directors, all people with great passion for the PWRDF vision of a truly just, healthy, and peaceful world. PWRDF is one of the best good news stories of our church's commitment to God's mission. As you recognize me as an honorary associate, I pledge afresh my following of the good work of PWRDF and my support as well. Dear friends, with blessings to one and all, Archbishop Fred Hiltz. So maybe we can clap again or send our balloons or our confetti for all of ourselves, yourselves, the honorary associates. Now we're at 26. And again, thank you, Martha, for your work in identifying and putting those associates in front of us for recognition today. So thank you. I'm going to pass it, I believe, Valerie, I can pass it directly to our Vice President, Mark Hawk.
Yes, thank you. And just a heads up, we may be running about 15 minutes over time, and our guests are waiting. So please, we have one more agenda item. Mark.
Thanks, Valerie. Excuse me. Sorry. I will be relatively fast because my voice may give out because I am fighting the last remnants of COVID. But I definitely wanted to take this opportunity to thank some wonderful people who are no longer going to be on the board. I've been involved in the not-for-profit sector for many, many years, and one of the first things that I was taught in the not-for-profit sector is you never say thank you to people enough. And I know that Valerie's already mentioned the people who are no longer going to be on the board, but you don't thank people enough for the hours of time they give and dedicate to PWRDF and other organizations with which they're involved. And so we thank them from the bottom of our heart. Organizations like PWRDF, it's the lifeblood of the organization, is these volunteers. You know, there's 85,000 registered charities in Canada and lots of competition for volunteers. And PWRDF is so blessed to have such outstanding people who have served on the board, in the board capacity, in addition to all the other capacities, but at the board, and have made such a huge difference in PWRDF. So I definitely want to thank them for their many years of service and dedication to the work of the board. So a big hearty thank you to Jillian Hoyer, Marie McAdam, Charlotte Lilly, Dorothy Russell Patterson, Martha Tatarnik, David Harrison, and Basil Pogue for the many years of work that you've done for PWRDF and all of the people, whether they be here in Canada or overseas. You've made a difference in people's lives, and we thank you again for everything you've done. It's been an honor working with you on the board, and I wish you all the best in whatever future adventures you take on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark, for that as well. And I'd like to turn it over now to Will, who is going to introduce our guests from Cuba.
Yes, thanks again, Valerie. I am really pleased that we can share a bit of the story of PWRDF's work in Cuba. And I'm just really honored that Dr. José Bringas is here with us, I think with some family. Maybe we'll have time to say hello to you in just a few minutes. Dr. José Bringas, can you just hear us? Maybe if you can just wave or just say hello from where you're at. Buenos días, Dr. José.
Sí, buenas. Bueno, me voy a apoyar en mi compañera para traducir un saludo de afecto y de emoción de estar conectados y compartir este tiempo juntos.
I'm just here to help with the translating a little bit, but basically we want to send greetings and thank you all for being connected today. And thanks for having us, basically.
Hey, wonderful. Maybe that was Claudia, but we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Hi, Claudia. Thank you so much. The Cuba team of the Episcopal Church, the development program of the Episcopal Church of Cuba, they've developed a video, a beautiful video. We're going to just take a few minutes, and as Valerie said, we may go a few minutes over time. The annual general meeting of PWRDF is such a special moment together. I hope, and if you can stay a few minutes extra, just to hear a good portion of the video. Maybe we're not able to show the whole video. It's 15 minutes, but hopefully you can see it all on your own time. But we will show as best we can the first 10 minutes of the video where Dr. José Bringas with Claudia are sharing what has happened in the work of the Episcopal Church's development program in Cuba. I just want to also recognize Dr. Jose Zarate, who is here with us as well, and he'll be here after for any questions and conversation that we may have time for. We'll see how the time is running, and Valerie and I can take a look at that. So I can ask, and if you're okay, Jose, affectionately known to all of us in good friendship terms as Pepe, for the work you do, and Claudia, we'll watch the video that you have put together so nicely for us. And I'm just going to ask Anya if you can just run that, and for all of us to stay as long as you can. If you do need to leave at 30 minutes past the hour, we fully understand, but we hope you can appreciate this video for as long, and we'll send you a link to make sure that you have that available to watch later. So Anya, if you can just share the video.
Don't have any sound there, Anya.
Sorry, let me reshare to get the sound on. 1 second. Wait 1 second. Screen 2. There.
Hello, everyone. My name is José Bringas. I am the coordinator of the Integral Development Program. And first of all, we would like to send our regards to participants in the PWRDF annual meeting. Our relationship with PWRDF goes back almost 10 years, and it has become increasingly stronger as we share similar interests in issues like
la seguridad ambiental, la ayuda
environmental security and humanitarian aid, and as we develop actions to improve quality of life for Cuban families in local communities.
cubanas en este sentido. Nosotros apoyamos todo
We support these communities to achieve food security, create economic opportunities,
los sistemas de salud, agua y
and promote health, water, and sanitation systems.
la creación y el funcionamiento.
We also support the creation and operation of disaster risk reduction teams
La contingencia y los peligros
to respond to potential emergencies and hazards in our communities.
esta reunión
Yes. Something is dripping, Chuck.
So we're seeing the closed captions anyways, but Anya, if you feel we just need to restart it or we'll have a conversation, we can always share the link at some point.
Hello, Anya, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm gonna start the audio. One moment. I realized that there was a little glitch. Just something.
Thank you.
Community development training to church leaders. In its early years,
Apoyar actividades para mejorar.
it was very much focused on supporting activities to improve nutrition for many Cuban families in more than 40 communities.
A partir del 2018,
In 2018, the Integral Development Program began to diversify its actions. It's a concept that puts the person at the center and helps them develop capacities to mobilize local resources and assets, and aims to contribute to solving basic needs in education, health, food, disaster risk preparedness, and also to the creation of economic opportunities. Our actions are decentralized in 6 major regions of the country, where there are church leaders and clergymen who maintain a leadership role because of their involvement and understanding of the program, which is supported by our promoters in the different sub-programs that make up our actions.
We've lost sound again, Anya.
What sets our program apart?
And now it's
I'm not sure why the song keeps cutting out. That's unusual. 1 second. I haven't done nor touched anything. Oh Lord, 1 second.
it's the Zoom gremlins.
Yeah.
Lord. I'm not doing anything fancy. We good again?
What sets our program apart, perhaps from other programs that also emphasize community work, is that it's centered on the individual. Secondly, it is centered on the possibilities that people have when they develop the ability to mobilize the resources around them and use them to their advantage. And thirdly, the elements that we promote during the training process all come from biblical references. Therefore, we move away from the technocratic concepts that prevail in today's world as far as community work is concerned. We are now visiting a workshop where facilitators are being trained to create savings and loans groups with education as part of the sub-program Creating Economic Opportunity. These groups have the power to mobilize communities around savings and education. We have 25 active groups across the country with an average of 15 people in each group. My experience as a participant in the group was especially important, and I believe that this savings group should be established in all the churches because they are relevant not only from the savings point of view, Porque no solamente lo
Also because of the fellowship generated among brothers and the importance of the different issues that were discussed there, including biblical topics. At the end of the month, we always saved some money, and by the end of the year, there was always a little more profit to get. So we left the meeting feeling happy. I was even able to help my relatives. Then, when COVID came, the facilities had to be closed and we could no longer meet. We hope they will reopen soon. The Economic Opportunities Sub-Program not only focuses on savings groups, but also supports small businesses such as daycare centers, cafeterias, handicraft workshops, and others. One of the most impactful sub-programs is access to purified water. With the support of the Episcopalian Friends, the church provides daily access to clean and healthy water for 3,700 people in 37 communities. I think this was a wonderful idea, and the product is very good. The water here is high in magnesium, and the attention is wonderful. That's all we can ask for. I used to have to pour hypochlorite solution into the water. I had to boil the water, filter it, strain it, and it all took a lot of time. I have kidney stones, so this is very important for me because, you know, it's hard to find water that's filtered and fit to drink. It's truly, really wonderful. Thanks to you for providing it. The attention is great. At 7 a.m. they are already here, open from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 12. It's a very special service. I pray to God this never ends because it's really helpful for the people. Hopefully everything that is done for the population works as well as this. Food security is another sub-program we follow closely. An increasing number of families are supporting initiatives related to the production and preservation of food, spices, and medicinal plants. At the Diocesan Center, we have a micro project that helps provide needs for its workers and vulnerable people in the community. My name is Genaro Quintero Martini. I am a farmer originally from Baracoa. I work in the church and I like farming. Here I plant whatever little piece of land there is. I grow yuca, sweet potatoes, and bananas. I have different kinds of food crops for all the friends of the church and those who come to visit. When I first came here, it didn't look like this. I have done my best, and there is not a single piece of land lost in this church. Everything is cultivated. There is one very important thing that people don't know. All these plants carry a little bit of work, a little bit of dedication from the one who planted them and from the one who takes care of them. You have to work and work with love and dedication because that's what it takes. If there is no dedication, no love for growing the plants, the result is useless. And there you can see now, you can see how beautiful they are.
All right, so we'll pause there at 10 minutes. And I'll send the link out to everyone so that you can watch the remaining 5 to 6 minutes. In the interest of getting some questions to Jose.
Exactly, and thank you, Anya, and thanks everyone for patience. We have come such a long ways with technology and sharing the good work of not just our partners, but here in this video, community members in Cuba who've been supported by our work together. So Pepe, Dr. José Bringas and your team, and Claudia, thank you so much. There was a question, and I'm just going to also ask our own colleague, Jose Zarate, to come in as needed as well. But there's a question about drinking water. Maybe you saw that in the chat. Pepe, and perhaps if you wish to just talk a bit more about the general situation of drinking water in Cuba. So however you and Claudia would like to share back with us.
Ya, sí, gracias por ver el video, aunque lamento que no hayan visto por completo, pero espero que puedan conectarse al link y puedan disfrutarlo porque realmente es un buen material de historias interesantes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have a way of translating. If not, I'm here. But basically, we would like to thank you for watching the video. It's a shame that you were not able to see it complete, but I hope that you have the opportunity to follow the link and see the rest of it.
Sí, el tema del agua potable es uno de los temas más importantes, uno de los programas más importantes que beneficia al año más de 1 millón de cubanos en el país, en el año.
Yeah, sorry, something about the pantalla.
Okay.
Just a second, we're trying to eliminate the blur from the screen.
Oh, here we are.
Ya, yo decía que el tema del agua, el acceso al agua purificada es uno de los programas más exitosos que tenemos.
Yeah, the access to purified water is one of our most successful programs because it reaches most beneficiaries as well.
Sí, beneficia en el año a más de 1 millón de cubanos. Esta es una población de 11 millones de cubanos.
And it benefits up to 1 million Cubans a year. And we're talking about a population of 11 million. So that's a big reach.
Yeah. Entonces, lo más importante es que llega a comunidades urbanas, son 37 comunidades urbanas y rurales.
Yeah, the most important is that we reach 37 communities between urban and rural communities.
Y aquí entonces nos conectamos con amigos, no solo PWRDF que nos apoya para el tema entrenamiento promotores y apoyos a algunas construcciones, sino también tenemos otros amigos episcopales que nos ayudan con los sistemas de purificación de agua.
And of course, we have the support not only from PWRTF, which supports us with infrastructure and training, and so we also have some of the friends who supports us with the filters and the purification system as such.
Thanks for that answer, Pepe and Claudia. Is there another question of our work in Cuba? Just maybe raise your hand, or if you want to put it in chat, we'll try to recognize. We'll maybe take 1 or 2 more questions. I know it's late, but we just really want to benefit from the time we have with you, Dr. Jose. Maybe I'll have a question. Maybe others will answer. And then Jose Zarate, if you wish to add to that as well. The situation in Cuba right now is really difficult. I so value the work you do as an agency, yes, of the Episcopal Church of Cuba, but the work you do is for everyone, those in most need. And your water program that I've seen as well, it's for everyone in the community, regardless of whether they're connected to the church or not. It's for those who are most in need. And I think that's such a good demonstration of community support and community development. But just if you can just say a few words about just the extra challenges that are there for our membership, just to know about a little bit more. And then if you can speak, Jose and Claudia translate, and maybe Jose Zarate, if you can just say a few words as well in what PWRDF is doing. Can I turn it back to you, Pepe and Claudia? Was that okay, Claudia, or was that too fast?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Bueno, hay una pregunta también en el chat que quiero combinar.
Yeah, we're going to answer the question, combining it with some information we have on the chat as well.
Sí, porque ya aquí, o sea, nosotros pudiéramos incluso incrementar las posibilidades de llegar con acceso a agua purificada a un número mayor de comunidades.
Because we could actually increase our capacity to reach a larger number of people and more communities.
Por ejemplo, nosotros en Cuba tenemos un problema. O llueve mucho o entramos en una etapa de sequía. Entonces, esto se combina con la búsqueda de fuentes de agua que no solamente son las que vienen por los canales tradicionales, sino también mediante la excavación de pozos. Pero en todo caso necesitamos pensar un poco cómo podemos mejorar el acceso a los sistemas de purificación de agua provenientes de nuestros colegas de PWRDF.
Something important to understand is that in Cuba we have a situation in which either it rains a lot, there's heavy rainfall during the year, or we have long periods of drought. So we're always trying to find ways of accessing purified water. In some communities, they resort to digging wells, but in the end, the idea is to ensure access of purified water to as many people as we can.
Incluso ahora tenemos las posibilidades que hay ciertas, digamos, reformas que se están produciendo que permiten un poco más la entrada de equipos y de recursos por vía de importación, y eso nos facilita a nosotros el trabajo.
At the time, the country is undergoing some reforms, and that facilitate the importation of equipment, of purification equipment, and that is actually facilitating the work we do. That could facilitate the work we do.
Que muchos de ustedes saben que en varias ocasiones teníamos casi que viajar en un avión transportando esos equipos en maletas y cosas así, que no es lo correcto.
In the past, you know that we used to travel in an airplane and carrying those equipment in our luggage, which is not the ideal solution.
Uh-huh. Pero lo que sí puedo al final afirmar es que tanto este programa de purificación de agua como el programa de saving groups, estos dos programas tienen la magia de movilizar a las personas casi de una manera espontánea, y eso es importante porque uno puede llegar a las personas más vulnerables de una manera más asequible.
But what I can say for sure is that both this program of water purification and the savings groups, these two programs have the power to mobilize people in the communities in a almost spontaneous way. And that is very important because that allows us to reach more people and to have more access to the community.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, Jose Zarate. Yeah.
Yes, perhaps.
Maybe just a minute or so, Jose. That would be great.
Sure. I will, first of all, welcome Pepe and Claudio. Thank you very much for being a strong supporter for the program. So thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Just to invite all the audience, please enjoy the video. It has been, in my opinion, the most excellent video that the partner has done during, I will say, the last 5 years. It's an excellent video. And not only that, I must acknowledge, give credit that in spite of poor internet connection in Cuba and the technology, which is no update to what we know here in Canada, they have produced just magnificent video. So that's one. The other one is I want to also encourage you, invite you to read the Cuba country profile. It's very rich, packed information there. There are stories that you might want to spend time in reading it. Highlight many fantastic events that took place during these last 10 years that we're working with them, particularly during COVID. So I'm going to leave it that way, that I can say that Cuban people, population working with us, see us as a truly partner who works side by side with them. The impact that this project has caused, that started very humbly with 5-7 committees. Now we are reaching almost 50 communities that is benefiting about 8,000 people. And we hope to have in the next year or two to reach 10,000 people just did it impact of this project. So it is a fantastic project. It's too bad that
our dear friend Archbishop Fred Hill wasn't here. He is one of the witnesses who has been with them, with all those committees on many occasions. So thank you, Will.
Jose, thanks. And maybe we can just go off mute and just everyone can clap their hands for our work in Cuba. We're so grateful. Thank you for the video. What a great gift to share back with us. Dr. Jose Bringas and Claudia, we are so grateful for your work and for sharing some time. May God bless you richly, and may God bless the people of Cuba. Thank you. And please stay for a few minutes, because Valerie, if it's okay, I can just pass it to Suzanne unless you'd like to say a word.
Well, just my thanks as well to Jose and Claudia for that. I'm looking forward to seeing the full video. Thanks so much. I think we should move, though, over to Suzanne to finish our meeting off here. Suzanne.
Valerie. Many of you know that since the start of the pandemic, we have gathered regularly online for praying with PWRDF, a time of reflection, music, prayer, and fellowship. We now meet monthly on the second Thursday of each month, and on October the 12th, we're hoping to welcome the Reverend Canon Murray Still, co-chair of the Anglican Council of Indigenous Peoples, as our reflector for praying. And so you're all most welcome to register and join the community that prays. A truly just, healthy, and peaceful world. I'd like to begin by asking those of you who are able to type into the chat words, phrases, images that come to mind when I say the word healthy. What does healthy mean to you? Just type those into the chat. For many years, PWRDF has engaged in a range of projects that address the healthy in our vision statement. HIV/AIDS, maternal, newborn, and child health, preventative health, and more broadly, food security, and the health of our planet in the face of climate change. Over the past 3 years, PWRDF has also worked with partners to address the COVID pandemic through the Vaccine Equity Fund and other health-related initiatives. In a world that seems ever more unhealthy, when planetary and human health is under increasing threat, what makes for health?
Yeah, it's gonna get horrifying.
What makes for health beyond the absence of illness? The clinical diagnosis, the health system. What makes for well-being for ourselves and for the oikumene, the whole inhabited earth, both human and non-human? What makes for shalom? And where do we begin to heal ourselves, to heal others, to heal the planet? In 2006, Irish poet and Nobel laureate Seamus Heaney suffered a stroke while staying at a guest house in Donegal, Ireland. It was his wife, Mari, and his friends who got him onto a stretcher, his community who got him down the stairs of the guest house, his community who got him into a waiting ambulance. Following that experience, Heaney wrote Miracle, based on the story found in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the 3 synoptic gospels, about Jesus' healing of the paralytic. Miracle. Not the one who takes up his bed and walks.
but the ones who have known him all along and carry him in, their shoulders numb, the ache and stoop deep locked in their backs, the stretcher handles slippery with sweat, and no let up until he's strapped on tight, made tiltable, and raised to the tile roof, then lowered for healing. Be mindful of them as they stand and wait for the burn of the paid out ropes to cool, their slight lightheadedness and incredulity to pass, those who have known him all along. Those who have known him all along. It takes a community to bring about healing. This community gathered here today, the communities in which you live and work and have your being, the many communities around the world that PWRDF walks with towards a truly just, healthy, and peaceful world. Let us pray. Healing, health, wholeness, and holiness be ours and all those whom we love. May peace, grace, and love surround us, and an awareness of your divine presence be a tent over us. And send us out now into the world to love and serve you, and to be the instruments of your healing grace. Amen.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. I would like to thank everyone who has taken part today, and really appreciate all your patience with our few little glitches here. Thank you so much, and I would like to end the meeting at this time. Is there any other business? Is there any other business? Is there any other business? Hearing none, I adjourn this meeting of the PWRDF at 4:52 Eastern, and do thank you again. Have a good evening, take care, and lovely to see you all.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, so much.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.